Ex-wife demanded I pay for her new unemployed boyfriend's real estate license because our kids need him, and she blackmailed me with my kids. So I made sure she understands where her boundaries are. All right, Reddit. This happened over the past 6 months, and I'm still wrapping my head around the sheer audacity of some people. My ex-wife basically tried to shake me down for her unemployed boyfriend's career expenses, using our kids as leverage. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well for her. But before we get to the nuclear part, let me set the stage properly because context matters. I'm 34, work as an electrical engineer for a manufacturing company here in Pennsylvania. Been with the same company for 9 years, worked my way up from junior engineer to senior project lead. Decent salary, full benefits package, 401k matching, the whole responsible adult setup. Own a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs that I bought after the divorce. Nothing flashy, just a solid 1980s ranch-style place with a 2-car garage and a decent yard. Got a truck that's paid off, a savings account that actually has money in it, and 0 debt besides the mortgage. I'm telling you this not to brag, but because it matters for the story. I've got my life together. Not rich, not struggling, just stable. Which apparently made me an ATM in my ex's eyes. Got divorced 2 years ago after a 7-year marriage that slowly fell apart. We met in college, Vanessa and I. She was studying business administration. I was deep in engineering coursework. Met at some party, started dating, did the whole young love thing. After graduation, we both got jobs in the area and figured why not get married. Everyone else was doing it. We were in our mid-20s and thought we had it all figured out. The first few years were actually good. We bought a small starter home together, adopted a dog named Murphy, took weekend trips to the mountains. Standard young married couple stuff. Had Emma when I was 26, Tyler 2 years later. Being a dad changed everything for me. Like flipped a switch in my brain about what actually mattered. My kids became my entire world. But somewhere around year 5, things started feeling off. Vanessa seemed distant, less interested in family stuff, more focused on her own life. She'd go out with friends multiple nights a week, leaving me to handle bedtime routines and morning chaos. Started making comments about feeling trapped, about missing her independence. Fair enough, I guess. Being a parent is intense. We tried counseling for about 6 months. One of those marriage therapists who nods a lot and asks how things make you feel. Didn't help. Vanessa wanted different things. Freedom, she called it. Said she felt like she'd missed out on her 20s by settling down so young. I couldn't argue with that. You can't force someone to want the life you're living. So we split. Filed in the spring. Finalized by fall. No huge court battle, no screaming matches. Just 2 people admitting it wasn't working and dividing things up as fairly as possible. Looking back, I probably gave up more than I should have just to keep things civil. Didn't want to drag the kids through a nasty divorce. Wanted to prove we could handle it like adults. The divorce was relatively clean. We agreed on joint custody of our 2 kids, Emma, who's 8 now, and Tyler, who's 6. Standard arrangement, alternating weeks with each parent. Week on, week off. I pay child support, $1,100 a month, which is honestly higher than the state calculation required, but I offered it anyway. Plus, I cover half of everything for the kids. Medical copays, dentist appointments, extracurriculars like Emma's soccer and Tyler's art classes, school supplies, clothes, all of it. I keep a shared spreadsheet where we track expenses and split them down the middle. Always on time, never missed a payment. Set up automatic transfers so there's never even a question. I'm not trying to win Father of the Year or anything, but I show up for my kids every single time. Every school play, every parent-teacher conference, every soccer game. I'm there. My ex, let's call her Vanessa, seemed fine with everything initially. She got the newer car in the divorce, kept most of the furniture we'd bought together, and I didn't fight her on any of it. Honestly, I just wanted things settled so we could co-parent without drama. Material stuff didn't matter to me. The kids mattered. Making sure they had stability mattered. Everything else was just noise. Took the high road, you know? Signed the papers, split the assets fairly, and moved into my own place 6 months before the divorce was final. Found the house through a coworker who knew I was looking. It had been sitting on the market for 3 months because it needed cosmetic work, and the previous owners had let maintenance slide. Most buyers took one look and passed. But I saw potential. 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, finished basement, garage with enough space for a workshop. Location was solid too. Good school district, quiet neighborhood, 10-minute drive from my office. Made an offer $20,000 below asking. They accepted within a day. The house I bought needed work, but that was fine. Gave me something to focus on besides the fact that my marriage had imploded. Spent weekends tearing out old carpet that smelled like it had survived multiple generations of pets. repainting rooms that had been some weird combination of peach and mauve, fixing the ancient HVAC system that sounded like a Boeing 747 taking off every time it kicked on. The previous owners had apparently never heard of preventative maintenance. Found dead mice in the walls when we opened up the drywall in the kitchen. The electrical panel was a disaster. Half the breakers were mismatched, and some genius had bypassed the safety cutoffs. Spent an entire weekend rewiring that myself, pulling permits, doing it right. The basement had water damage in one corner from a slow leak that probably went unnoticed for years. Ripped out the damaged drywall, sealed the foundation crack, installed a proper sump pump system. My buddy Travis, who's a contractor and has been my friend since high school, helped me redo the kitchen. This dude can build anything. He runs his own construction company, mostly does commercial work, but he took weekends to help me out. Brought his tools, his expertise, and a cooler full of energy drinks. We ripped out these hideous cabinets from the 80s, some kind of orange-stained oak that looked like they belonged in a bad sitcom. Hauled them to the dump on a Saturday morning, both of us laughing at how ugly they were. Installed new ones I found on sale at Home Depot, white shaker style that made the whole room look bigger and cleaner. Swapped out the ancient laminate countertops for butcher block that Travis and I sanded and sealed ourselves. Put in a new sink, new faucet, updated all the cabinet hardware. Took us 3 solid weekends, working from sunrise until we couldn't see straight anymore. But it looked professional when we finished. Travis wouldn't take money for his time, said helping a friend was what friends do. I paid him back by helping him build a deck at his place the following summer. I set up the kids' rooms first. That was the priority. Before I even unpacked my own stuff, I wanted their spaces ready. Emma wanted purple walls with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. So I spent an entire Saturday taping off trim, rolling on 2 coats of this lavender purple she picked out from approximately 50 different purple samples at Lowe's. Then spent that night on a ladder sticking those adhesive stars in constellation patterns I looked up online. Big Dipper, Orion, Cassiopeia. Figured if she was going to have stars, might as well make them accurate. Tyler wanted dinosaurs everywhere. So his room got painted in earth tones, browns and greens. I found this massive T-Rex wall decal online. Thing was like 5 feet tall. Spent an hour carefully applying it to the wall above his bed, making sure there were no bubbles or crooked edges. Got him dinosaur bedding, dinosaur curtains, this lamp shaped like a triceratops that he still uses every single night. Spent a Saturday afternoon at Target loading up on bedding, toys, posters, all that stuff. Pushed a cart through the aisles, letting them pick out whatever they wanted for their rooms. Emma grabbed throw pillows and a fuzzy rug. Tyler found these plastic storage bins shaped like dinosaur eggs. I didn't care about the cost. Wanted them to feel like this was their home too, not just Dad's house they visited. When they came over for their first weekend in the new place, they were pumped. Emma literally squealed when she saw her room. Ran around touching everything like she couldn't believe it was real. Tyler stood in his doorway for a solid minute, just staring at the T-Rex decal before turning to me and saying, "This is the coolest room ever." That feeling of seeing your kids happy in a space you built specifically for them? Nothing beats it. Made every hour of work worth it. Set up the basement as a play area. Bought one of those huge sectional couches from a furniture outlet. Put in a TV for movie nights. Set up bins for their toys. Created this fort area with bean bags and a tent they could pretend camp in. Tyler loved that fort. Some weekends he'd drag his sleeping bag down there and sleep in it like he was actually camping. The backyard needed work too. Overgrown bushes, patchy grass, a rotting wooden fence that looked like a strong wind would knock it over. Spent a month clearing it out, section by section. Pulled weeds, trimmed bushes, reseeded the lawn. Travis helped me replace the fence. We did it in treated lumber that would actually last. Put in a swing set I found on sale at a sporting goods store. Not some cheap plastic thing, a real wooden set with a slide and monkey bars. Took me an entire weekend to assemble following instructions that might as well have been written in ancient Greek, but I got it done. Emma and Tyler spent hours on that swing set. I'd watch them from the kitchen window while making dinner, both of them laughing and fighting over who got the higher swing. Those little moments made everything else worth it. Vanessa seemed supportive at first. She'd drop the kids off on time every exchange day, ask how things were going with the house, even complimented the kitchen when she came inside to grab something Emma forgot one time. Made small talk about Emma's upcoming school recital or Tyler's dentist appointment. Normal co-parent stuff. For about 6 months, everything was smooth as could be. We had what I genuinely thought was a functional co-parenting relationship. Communicated through text about schedules and school stuff. She'd send me photos of art projects the kids did at her place. I'd update her when they hit milestones at mine. No arguments, no passive-aggressive nonsense, No weaponizing the kids. We'd even managed to sit together at Emma's soccer games without it being weird. I thought we'd actually nailed the whole amicable divorce thing. Thought we were mature adults who'd put our kids first. Shows what I knew. Then, around last October, about 14 months post-divorce, things started shifting. Little changes at first. Nothing I could put my finger on initially, just a vibe. She started dating this guy. Let's call him Derek. Didn't hear about it from Vanessa directly. Found out through the kids, which should have been my first clue something was off. Normal adults tell their co-parent when someone new is going to be around their children. That's basic courtesy. But apparently that was too much to ask. Tyler mentioned him first. We were having breakfast one Saturday. I'd made pancakes shaped like dinosaurs because I'm that kind of dad. And Tyler just casually said, "Derek made us sandwiches for dinner last night." "Who's Derek?" I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. "Mom's friend. He's always at the house. Always at the house." Interesting choice of words from a 6-year-old. From what the kids told me over the next few weeks, I pieced together that Derek was in his late 30s, drove a beat-up Honda Civic with mismatched doors, and apparently played a lot of video games. The kind of guy who probably peaked in high school and never quite figured out what to do with his life after that. Tyler mentioned multiple times that Derek was always on the couch when they got home from school. Emma said he made them wait to use the TV because he was in the middle of something important, which turned out to be some online shooter game with his buddies. Emma also mentioned that Derek had moved in, which again, I found out from my 8-year-old instead of from their mother. Just woke up one morning and boom, strange dude living full-time in the house where my kids sleep half the time. That's the kind of thing you give the other parent a heads up about. Hey, someone new is going to be around the kids, just wanted you to know. Basic respect. But respect wasn't really Vanessa's strong suit, apparently. Great guy, clearly. Model citizen. Father figure material. Look, I didn't care who Vanessa dated. Seriously. We were done. She could see whoever she wanted. She could have been dating a professional juggler or a guy who collected vintage license plates. Wouldn't have affected me one bit. Her romantic life stopped being my business the second we signed those divorce papers. But here's the thing that every divorced parent knows. When your ex starts dating someone, and that someone starts affecting your kids, you pay attention. You pay very close attention. The first actual red flag, beyond just Derek's general existence, came when Emma mentioned he ate most of the snacks Vanessa bought for them. Like, the kids would get home from school hungry, go to the pantry for their granola bars or fruit snacks, and they'd be gone. Derek had eaten them. An adult man eating food specifically bought for children. Emma said Vanessa told them Derek didn't realize those were for them. Yeah, because graham crackers and juice boxes are definitely adult snacks. Then Tyler said Derek got mad when he was too loud during Derek's gaming sessions. Got actually angry, raised his voice, told a 6-year-old to shut up because he was trying to concentrate on his game. Tyler said it made him feel scared. Hearing your kids say they felt scared in their other parents' home is a special kind of pain. But what was I supposed to do? Call Vanessa and accuse her boyfriend of being a jerk based on a 6-year-old's story? That would have gone over well. Nothing major really, just little things that started adding up. Derek borrowed Emma's art supplies and didn't return them. Derek changed the thermostat and made the house too cold. Derek parked his car in a way that blocked their bikes in the garage. Individual things that could be explained away or overlooked. But together, pattern of behavior from someone who didn't respect boundaries or think about anyone besides himself. Still, I kept my mouth shut. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Vanessa's house, Vanessa's rules, Vanessa's terrible taste in men. As long as the kids were safe and fed, I didn't have grounds to interfere. Divorce means accepting you don't get a say in how things work at the other house. Took me a while to make peace with that, but I managed it. But then Vanessa started calling me more often. Not about the kids' schedules or school events or doctor appointments. About money. Always about money. Which was weird because our child support arrangement covered everything it was supposed to, and we had our system for splitting additional expenses. Started with small stuff. Hey, can you cover Emma's new cleats? I'm a little short this month. This was in November, right before soccer season ended. Emma's cleats from the beginning of the season were still fine, but Vanessa said she needed new ones. I bought them. Didn't question it. 2 weeks later, Tyler needs a new winter coat. Can you grab one? Tyler had a winter coat. I'd bought it the previous year, and it still fit him fine. But sure, kids grow, maybe he needed a bigger size. I bought the coat. Week after that, the car needs an oil change. Think you could help out? The car. Her car. The one she got in the divorce. That was a new one. Since when was I responsible for maintaining her vehicle? But I figured maybe she was genuinely struggling, so I sent her money for the oil change. Then it was the water bill. Then it was groceries. Then it was her phone bill. Every single week, something new. Can you help with this? Can you cover that? I'm just a little short right now. Always phrased as temporary, like next month would be better. Next month never came. I'm not heartless. Kids need stuff, cars need maintenance, life happens. I covered it because I didn't want to be the guy who nickel and dimed his ex-wife while his kids were involved. But it was weird, really weird. Because Vanessa works full-time as an office manager at a dental practice. She makes decent money. Not engineer money, but enough to cover her half of things comfortably. The state uses a formula for child support based on both parents' incomes. And the amount I pay should have been more than enough for her portion of their expenses. The fact that she kept coming to me for extra cash felt off, like something had changed in her financial situation, but I couldn't figure out what. Or maybe I didn't want to figure it out. Easier to just pay and move on than dig into whatever mess was happening at her place. Then in early February, about 4 months into the Derek era, she hit me with something that made my brain completely short-circuit. Something so absurd I actually had to ask her to repeat it, because I thought I'd misheard. She called on a Wednesday evening around 7. I was in my garage working on my truck's brakes, which had been squeaking for a week, and finally drove me crazy enough to fix them. Had the wheel off, brake pads laid out on my workbench, hands covered in that black brake dust that gets everywhere. Almost didn't answer when her name popped up on my phone screen because I was in the middle of something and figured it could wait. But I picked up anyway because, well, kids. Any call from your ex when you have kids together could be important. Could be an emergency. Could be someone got hurt or sick. You answer, "Hey, what's up? We need to talk about something important." Her voice had this rehearsed quality to it, like she'd been practicing what she was going to say. That phrase, those 6 words, nothing good ever follows. We need to talk about something important. It's the verbal equivalent of a doctor saying, "Let's have a seat," before giving you bad news. Okay, what's going on? I put down the wrench I'd been holding, wiped my hands on a shop rag that used to be white but was now permanently gray. So, Derek's been working really hard to get his life together, and he's decided to get his real estate license. Silence. I waited for her to continue because I genuinely had no idea why she was telling me this. Derek's career aspirations weren't exactly on my list of things to care about. Why would they be? That's great for him, I said, trying to sound supportive but mostly just confused about where this conversation was headed. Well, the licensing courses and exams cost about $4,000 total, and we were thinking you could help cover it. I stopped what I was doing completely. Just stood there in my garage holding a dirty shop rag, staring at my phone like it had spontaneously developed the ability to speak nonsense. Put the phone on speaker because I needed both hands free for this conversation. Needed to be able to pace. I'm sorry, what? Derek needs $4,000 for his real estate courses. The online classes are about $2,500. Then there's the exam fees, study materials, and he needs a reliable laptop because his old one died. It would really help our family situation if he could get licensed and start working in a stable career. Our family situation. That's what she said. Like Derek getting a real estate license was somehow a joint family investment that I had stake in. Like I had any responsibility whatsoever for this dude's career trajectory. Vanessa, why would I pay for your boyfriend's career training? Because Emma and Tyler need stability. Derek's going to be living with us full-time permanently, and it would be better for the kids if he had a stable income. You're their father. You should care about who's around them and whether that environment is stable. The logic was so fundamentally twisted, I didn't even know where to start unpacking it. Like, where do you even begin with that kind of reasoning? I pay child support. I pay $1,100 a month, which is more than the state requires. I cover everything I'm supposed to for the kids, split every expense down the middle, show up for every event, handle my custody time without issues. Derek's career is not my responsibility in any universe. You're being selfish. This isn't about you or me. This is about what's best for Emma and Tyler. They need a stable male role model in the home when they're with me. They have a male role model. Me. I'm their father. That's my job, not Derek's. And definitely not my job to fund Derek becoming whatever he thinks he wants to be this week. You're not there half the time. They need someone consistent at my house. That's what child support is for. That's literally the entire point of the financial arrangement we have. I support the kids, not your boyfriend's dreams. You're being selfish. This is about what's best for Emma and Tyler. No, this is about your boyfriend needing money and you trying to guilt me into paying for it. She went silent for a second. I could practically hear her recalculating, figuring out her next angle of attack. Then her tone changed completely, got colder, more calculated. The mask slipped and I could hear exactly what was coming. Fine. I was hoping we could handle this like mature adults, but I guess not. I guess I was wrong about you being mature enough to think about what's truly best for our children." She hung up. I stood there in my garage for a solid 5 minutes, trying to process what just happened. Did my ex-wife really just ask me to fund her unemployed boyfriend's career change? And frame it like I was a bad father if I didn't? That was just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, she kept bringing it up. Every conversation somehow circled back to Derek and his real estate ambitions. Tyler's teacher said he seems distracted lately. It's probably because there's tension in the house. If Derek had a job, things would be calmer. Emma asked why you won't help Derek. She knows he's struggling. That last one made my blood boil. The idea that she was talking to our 8-year-old daughter about this was insane. Vanessa, stop dragging the kids into this. It's inappropriate. I'm not dragging them into anything. They live here. They see what's going on. They know Derek's trying to better himself and you're standing in the way. I'm not standing in the way of anything. I'm just not funding it. She'd sigh dramatically, like I was being unreasonable. Then she started dropping hints about how difficult things might get if I didn't step up. It would be really unfortunate if I had to start keeping the kids from you because of the negative energy you're bringing into their lives. That's when I realized this wasn't just about money. This was a power play. She was testing how far she could push me, and when I didn't fold, she went nuclear. One Friday in March, I was supposed to pick up the kids for my week. I showed up at Vanessa's place at 6 like always, knocked on the door. No answer. Texted her. Nothing. Called. Straight to voicemail. I waited 30 minutes, then an hour. Finally, she texted me back. "The kids aren't feeling well. They're staying with me this week." Feeling well? Both of them? On the exact day I'm supposed to pick them up? Sure. I called her immediately. She answered this time. "What do you mean they're not feeling well? They both have stomach bugs. I'm keeping them home. Let me talk to them. They're sleeping. Vanessa, I want to talk to my kids." I said they're sleeping. Stop being difficult. She hung up again. I sat in my truck outside her house debating whether to knock again or just leave. This felt wrong. Really wrong. But I didn't want to cause a scene, especially if the kids were actually inside and might see it. I drove home. Spent the entire evening trying to reach her. She ignored every call and text. Finally, around 10 that night, she sent me a message. "Maybe if you cared more about their well-being and less about your ego, this wouldn't be an issue. Think about what's important here." That's when I knew she was using the kids as leverage to force my hand on this Derek situation. She was literally withholding my custody time because I wouldn't pay for her boyfriend's real estate classes. I called my lawyer first thing Monday morning. Her name's Patricia, mid-50s, no-nonsense type who handled my divorce. She's got this way of listening to you vent and then cutting through all the emotion to focus on what actually matters legally. "So let me get this straight," she said, after I explained everything. "Your ex-wife asked you to pay for her boyfriend's career training, and when you refused, she violated the custody agreement?" "Exactly. And she's framing it like it's for the kids' benefit?" "Yep." Patricia laughed. Not a fun laugh. More like the laugh of someone who's seen this exact situation 100 times. She's trying to manipulate you using the custody arrangement. This is textbook parental alienation, combined with attempted financial coercion. Unfortunately for her, she just handed us a gift. "What do you mean?" "She violated a court order. We have texts proving it was deliberate, not because of any legitimate concern for the children's welfare. We're going to document everything, file a motion, and make sure she understands that custody agreements aren't negotiable based on her financial demands." "What do I need to do?" "Keep all the texts. Don't delete anything. Screenshot every conversation. Don't engage with her beyond scheduling and kid-related logistics. Don't get emotional or make threats. Just be the calm, responsible parent. Let her keep digging her own hole." I followed Patricia's advice to the letter. Vanessa kept texting me about Derek and the money, and I just responded with variations of, "I'm focused on my time with the kids. Please confirm when I can pick them up for my custody week." She got increasingly frustrated, started making wild accusations. "You're a deadbeat who doesn't care about his own children. Derek's more of a father to them than you've ever been. I'm going to take you back to court and make sure you never see them again." Every text went straight into a folder on my phone. Every missed custody exchange got documented with timestamps and screenshots. I even started keeping a journal of every conversation, every dropped hint, every manipulation attempt. Meanwhile, Patricia filed a motion with the court. Emergency hearing to address the custody violation and establish that Vanessa couldn't withhold the children based on financial disputes unrelated to their welfare. The hearing got scheduled for mid-April, about 5 weeks after the first time she kept the kids from me. During those weeks, Vanessa's behavior got worse. She started coaching the kids to say things when I finally did get them. Emma, out of nowhere during dinner one night. Derek says you don't care about us. Tyler, Mom says you have lots of money but won't share it. I kept my cool. Told them that grown-ups sometimes disagree about money stuff, but it has nothing to do with how much I love them. Changed the subject, made mac and cheese, played board games. Did everything I could to just be their dad and not drag them further into this nightmare. But I was documenting everything. Every comment the kids made that sounded coached. Every time Vanessa was late for exchanges or forgot to pack their stuff. Every text where she threatened or manipulated. The hearing finally arrived. I showed up with Patricia, a folder full of documented evidence and a calm demeanor. Vanessa showed up with Derek, which was bold considering he was the entire reason we were in court. The judge was a woman in her 60s who looked like she'd heard every custody dispute excuse in existence and wasn't impressed by any of them. She reviewed the motion, looked at the evidence, and asked Vanessa to explain herself. Your Honor, I was acting in the best interest of my children. Their father has been creating a hostile environment by refusing to support their household stability. What does that mean specifically? The judge asked. He refuses to help ensure that the male role model in their lives has stable employment, which affects their emotional security. The judge looked at the paperwork, then at Vanessa, then at Patricia. Counselor, what is Ms. Vanessa referring to? Patricia stood up. Your Honor, the respondent demanded that my client pay $4,000 for her boyfriend's real estate licensing courses. When he declined, she violated the custody agreement by withholding the children on multiple occasions. We have extensive documentation of her attempts to financially coerce my client, using the children as leverage. The judge turned back to Vanessa. You withheld court-ordered custody time because your ex-husband wouldn't pay for your boyfriend's career training? It's not that simple. It sounds exactly that simple. Did you or did you not prevent the petitioner from exercising his custody rights? Vanessa's lawyer, this younger guy, who looked like he regretted taking this case, jumped in. Your Honor, my client was concerned about the emotional impact on the children. The emotional impact of their father exercising his legal custody rights? The custody rights established by this court? The lawyer had no response. The judge flipped through more documents. I see here that the petitioner pays child support on time, covers additional expenses for the children, and has had no issues with his custody responsibilities prior to this incident. That's correct, Your Honor, Patricia said. And the respondent's justification for withholding custody is that he won't fund her boyfriend's career change? Correct. The judge took off her glasses, looked directly at Vanessa. Ms. Vanessa, let me be absolutely clear. Your ex-husband has zero legal or moral obligation to fund your boyfriend's anything. The fact that you would weaponize custody time to attempt financial manipulation is deeply concerning. Child support is for the children. Custody arrangements are for the children. Your boyfriend's career aspirations are not relevant to either. Vanessa tried to speak. The judge held up her hand. I'm not finished. You violated a court order. Multiple times. You coached your children to relay messages about financial matters they should never be exposed to. You've created a hostile co-parenting environment. And you did all of this because you wanted money for something completely unrelated to your children's welfare. The judge put her glasses back on, started writing. I'm ordering makeup custody time for every week the petitioner was denied his rights. That's 4 weeks total. Additionally, I'm mandating that you and the petitioner attend co-parenting counseling to establish boundaries. If there are any future violations of the custody agreement, we will revisit the arrangement entirely and it will not be in your favor. Do you understand? Vanessa nodded, looking like she'd been hit by a truck. Your Honor, one more thing, Patricia said. We'd like to include a provision that the respondent is prohibited from discussing financial matters unrelated to the children's direct needs with the children, or in their presence. Granted. Anything else? We'd also like to establish that any future requests for additional financial support beyond the court-ordered child support and agreed-upon shared expenses must be submitted in writing with documentation of the expense and its direct benefit to the children. Also granted. This hearing is concluded. We walked out of that courthouse and I felt like I could breathe for the first time in 2 months. Vanessa and Derek left through a different exit. Didn't even make eye contact. Patricia turned to me in the parking lot. She's not going to pull that again. She knows now that custody isn't a bargaining chip. If she tries anything similar, she'll lose custody entirely. Thank you. Seriously, don't thank me. You did this right. You documented everything, stayed calm, didn't stoop to her level. That's why we won. The makeup custody time started the following week. Vanessa dropped the kids off without a word. No apology, no acknowledgement that she'd been wrong. Just handed over their bags and left. But here's the thing. The kids noticed the change. They didn't say anything directly, but they seemed more relaxed, less tense, like they didn't have to walk on eggshells anymore. One night during dinner, Emma asked me, "Are you and Mom fighting?" We had a disagreement, but grown-ups sometimes need help working things out. That's why we're doing counseling. But no matter what, we both love you and Tyler more than anything. Derek says you don't like him. Derek and I don't really know each other. But what matters is that you guys are happy and safe. That's all I care about. She seemed satisfied with that answer. Went back to eating her spaghetti. The co-parenting counseling sessions started in May. Forced once-a-week meetings where Vanessa and I sat in a therapist's office and talked through our issues with a mediator. The therapist, a guy named Dr. Stevens, was good at cutting through nonsense. First session, he established ground rules. No accusations. No bringing up the past unless it's relevant to current issues. Focus on the kids. Vanessa tried to steer things back to her financial situation. It's just really hard when he has so much more than we do. Dr. Stevens shut it down immediately. We're not here to discuss finances between you and your ex-partner. We're here to discuss co-parenting. How you manage your household finances is not his concern, unless it directly endangers the children. Does it? No, but then we're moving on. Over the next few sessions, we established actual boundaries. Communication would happen through a co-parenting app, not random texts at all hours. Any requests for additional expenses needed to be submitted with receipts and discussed rationally, not demanded. The kids would not be used as messengers for adult issues. Vanessa didn't love it, but she followed the rules. Probably because she knew violating them would land her back in court, and she'd already seen how that went. By June, things had stabilized. The kids seemed happier. Exchanges were civil. Vanessa stopped making demands about Derek. I heard through mutual friends that Derek eventually paid for his own real estate courses. Took him a few months of working part-time retail to save up, but he managed. Never got licensed though. Failed the exam twice and apparently gave up. Started working at a car dealership instead. Not sure if he's still with Vanessa. Don't really care. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.